The New Colossus. The cast of characters in order of appearance. Narrator: George, a guard at Ellis Island. Irving Cohen, a 17-year-old Jewish immigrant from Russia. Mrs. Grimaldi, a 27-year-old Italian immigrant. Joe, a guard at Ellis Island. Raskin, a 40-year-old immigrant from Irving Cohen's village. Dr. McDowell, a doctor at Ellis Island. Schultz, an immigrant from Germany. Pappas, an immigrant from Greece. Ryan, an immigrant from Ireland. Mr. Smith, an immigrant official. Setting: the immigration processing station on Ellis Island, New York City, 1906. Narrator: we are on Ellis Island near New York City in 1906. 17-year-old Irving Cohen is from Kishinev, a village in Russia. He walks into the immigration processing station after a grueling 2-week trip by steamship across the Atlantic Ocean. He is surrounded by thousands of other immigrants from countries around the world. This way, folks. Move along. Keep in line. Men in uniforms. I hope they're not like the ones in my old country. Irving is exhausted but eager to enter the United States of America and search for freedom and opportunity. But he worries. Will the officials let him in? Will he pass the entry tests? What if they send him back to Russia? Irving inches forward, avoiding the guards. Surrounded by thousands of other immigrants, a woman in the group accidentally bumps into him. Excuse me. My English, it is not so good. Sorry. Don't be sorry. It's the crowds. Why such a look on your face? My stomach is in knots. Knots? I don't understand. My stomach is doing flip-flops. I am nervous of these men. I don't like men in uniforms. They're only guards. But they look like soldiers. You don't want to know what the soldiers back in my country do to people like me. You think I don't know? I read the papers. You are Russian? Yes. How'd you guess? I didn't. It says so on your tag. Look. She points to the paper pinned to his jacket. And you, Mrs. Grimaldi, are from Italy. Naples, in the south. That sounds nice and warm. In Russia, we freeze to death. Weather isn't everything. In Naples, we were warm, but we nearly starved to death. You there, Cohen, Grimaldi, step up the stairs. We don't have all day. Can't these people follow directions? Show some compassion, George. If you spent 2 weeks on a steamship packed into the lowest level like animals, you'd be woozy too. Irving ignores the guard's conversation. He and Mrs. Grimaldi climb up the massive staircase with the crowd. The hall is noisy, hot, and smelly, and they are anxious in a strange place, a strange land. But their hopes for freedom and opportunity propel them forward. What were you saying, Irving? 2 months ago, the soldiers came riding through my village on horses. Soldiers? With guns? Yes, with guns and hatchets and swords. They tore through the homes on my street, ripping walls apart, smashing windows. They rode onto another street and set fire to shops and houses, to neighbors and friends I've known all my life. Terrible. Did they survive? The caption on this picture says, "Immigrants await examination on Ellis Island, circa 1915. Just barely. Many were badly burned, bleeding, and had no place to go. Why did the soldiers do such awful things? Why? Because we're Jews. That's why. What about the police? Couldn't they help you? The police just stood by, laughing. Hey, you two, Cohen, Grimaldi, didn't you hear me? I said move ahead. I've heard about such massacres of innocent people. They call them pogroms, right? Yes, pogroms. What about you? Are there pogroms in your country? No. Then you're lucky. Not so lucky. In my country, there are no jobs, and we are all crowded into one space to save money. Me, I lived with my husband's parents. We all live with family. And 11 cousins. Oh. We were 15 crammed into one small space. Worst of all, my husband couldn't get any work. We had almost nothing to eat, maybe a little fish or some soup. We were hungry all the time, so my husband came here to find a job. Any job. He wanted a better life. We all do. Right away, he found some work on the docks here in New York. Low pay, long hours, but it's work. It's something. Finally, he wrote to me to come to America. I have his letter in my bag. Here it is. It says he will be downstairs today, ready to pick me up. I'll write down our address for you. It is in a place called Brooklyn. Come visit and I'll make you a nice Italian meal. Women and children, turn right. Men, turn left. What's going on? Medical tests. No admission papers if you don't pass the tests. You there, turn left, I said. Men, turn left. Irving stands in another line waiting to see the doctor. I hope he doesn't find anything wrong. I couldn't face it if he sent me back to Russia. I need to work to send money to my family. I'm telling you, Joe, these foreigners come to our country looking to take our jobs. Honest, hardworking folks like us will be out of work in no time. I disagree with you, George. We live in a growing country. We need good people willing to work hard. Anyway, what are we going to do? Let these poor people get killed? Let them starve back in their countries? We have an obligation, a responsibility to let them in. That's what America is all about. Our responsibility is to ourselves, not some ignoramuses who can barely read or write. Let them fend for themselves. America is for Americans, I say. Oh, George. Don't oh, George me. They're ruining what we've worked for all our lives. Irving recognizes a man in line, and a man from his hometown in Russia. Raskin, it's me, Irving Cohen, from Kishinev. Little Irving Cohen, you're a big man now. I've grown, it's true. But why did you leave the village? Your shop was a big success. Money doesn't buy safety. Our village, our people, always in fear of attack. I didn't want to live that way anymore. How well I understand. Look, our line is moving. Now come the medical tests. I'm not worried. I'm strong like a horse. Irving and Raskin proceed to a doctor's office. It is Irving's turn for an exam. Where's your card? Which card? They gave me so many. Why do we take in these fools? He should go home. They should all go back to where they came from. That would include you too, George. Didn't your family come from Europe? Yes, but that was 60 years ago. We're Americans now. The doctor examines Irving's nails, chest, and scalp. We'd be better off without them. Mr. Cohen, open your mouth. Let's see your teeth. Good. And stick out your tongue. Not at him. Me. Why, you. Take it easy, George. Say, ah. Ah. Can I go now? Your eyes are quite red. A little bloodshot from the electric lights. They are so bright. I'm not used to these. What do you call them? Light bulbs. Unusually red. Any pain? No, no pain. Are you always sensitive to light? Doctor, why are you asking me all these questions? I told you, I'm not used to light bulbs, so I blink a little extra. I'm not so sure. Step aside. The immigrants near Irving gasp. They know that a failed eye test is enough to send someone back home. But Irving's desire for a better life drives him to question the doctor. Irving is determined to enter America and escape oppression. In America, he can be an American and a Jew. The caption for the picture on page 14 says, "A doctor inspects immigrant for skin diseases, 1902. Irving, what's wrong? Why can't I move on with the others? It's your red eyes, Mr. Cohen. It must be trachoma, a highly contagious disease. We have to be sure. Please step aside now. I'm losing my patience. Don't you listen. The doctor said step aside. Oh no, my boy, they're going to deport you. They don't want a disease like that in America. Please, doctor, don't send me back to the pogrom. A second opinion never hurts. The doctor smiles and agrees to have his partner take a look. The other doctor examines Irving and then consults with Dr. McDowell. Well, Irving, there's no discharge or scarring, just light sensitivity, so no trachoma. Welcome to the United States of America. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. The doctor stamps Irving's medical record passed, and Irving hurries off. Irving and Raskin now enter a huge room called the registry. Thousands of people sit on the floor or on wooden benches, waiting for their names to be called. After 3 hours at Ellis Island, Irving is exhausted and confused, but still courageous. Then Irving sees another friendly face. Mrs. Grimaldi, we meet again. Sit with us, madame. This might take a while. Yeah, sit, yes. I'm tired, Irving. You and me both. We're like the people in that poem on the statue. Yes, the statue. The Statue of Liberty, they call it. We can almost see her from here. She is so beautiful. And the poem, I know it by heart. These words mean everything to me. To me, too. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Raskin, you know it too? Like Mrs. Grimaldi, it speaks to me. Some of the other immigrants gather nearby as they hear the words of the poem. It speaks to all of us. It promises freedom, a chance for a new life, a chance to put a roof over our heads, food in my children's stomachs, and hope in our hearts. But the title, what does it mean? The new Colossus, why is it called that? Because of the old Colossus, the Colossus of Rhodes. Rhodes? A city in Greece, my country. Long ago, there was a gigantic statue in the harbor. How come? It meant unity and freedom when it stood, a long time ago. So the new Colossus is also a statue, the Statue of Liberty here in New York. It is a symbol. A symbol? To people like us coming to America, the statue is saying, we want you here with the rest of us. You're safe here. I like the way the statue lifts her arm, so strong, holding a torch, welcoming us with light, showing us the way to freedom. Suddenly, an official calls out, Cohen, Irving Cohen, to the desk. That's me. Mr. Smith, an immigration official, questions Irving, then compares his answers with the information on the ship's manifest. If Irving's answers don't match the manifest, he risks being sent back. Place of birth? Russia. May I never see her again. Marital status? Single. Education? 6 years, give or take. You have relatives here? Not yet. They'll come when I send them money. Which city will you live in? This city, New York. I want to live here, near the statue, near the mother of exiles. Now, one last crucial question. How much money do you have? The official wants assurance that Irving can live on his own. In America at that time, the policy was to accept only newcomers who could support themselves, not those who might rely on government assistance. Without $25, enough to live for months back then, Irving can be rejected and sent back to Russia. Money? I don't know, let me see. Irving opens his shirt. Around his neck is a small leather pouch. He opens it carefully and counts the coins. $16, $17, $18, $19, $20. 20, that's all? What do you mean that's all? That's a lot of money. It took my family years to save it. But it's not enough. You need at least $25. Horrified, Irving looks around frantically. He is pale and shaken. This is the last phase of processing. He can see the staircase straight ahead, leading to the ferry and his new life. Other immigrants gather around as he pleads with Mr. Smith. You think I'm coming here to take something away from you, but it is not true. All I want is a place that is safe, where I can be myself and pray as I like, when and where I want. All I want is a job, a chance to make a better life for my family, a dowry for my sister, and to be able to speak my mind without the government objecting to what I say. I'm willing to work hard for my future. I want to walk through the gates downstairs and live out my dreams. I just want a chance. That's all any of us wants. Mr. Smith is startled. He looks down and nods. Irving walks away from the desk. Meanwhile, Raskin, standing nearby, witnesses Irving's financial dilemma. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out some money. No, Raskin, I cannot accept. You must. But you have your own life to lead. Listen, we all help each other. You are my landsman. Anyhow, I carry a little extra just in case. Irving embraces Raskin, then races back to the desk. Sir, I have it. Name, Cohen. I was just here. My name is Cohen. Country of origin? You don't understand. I was just at your desk. You asked how much money I have. I've got it now. I've got the $25. The official pages through his stack of papers. He finds Irving's documents and stamps them admitted. Elated, Irving turns around to say goodbye to Mrs. Grimaldi, but she is in distress. "What's wrong? You're pale and shaking." "Mr. Cohen, I'm now, as they say here, next to myself. No, beside myself. Because of the letter from my husband, the official won't let me in without it. Where did he go?" She rifles through her bag, searching her pockets, frenzied. "Letter? What letter?" "The letter my husband wrote me that he said he'll pick me up downstairs. I'm by myself. Without a man to vouch for me, they won't let me in. But now I can't find the letter." From his pocket, Irving takes out the paper with Mrs. Grimaldi's address on it. "You mean this letter?" "My letter! And your address. You must write it again for me, on a different piece of paper." Smiling, the two descend the stairs. They say goodbye. In spite of their fears of an unfamiliar country, they look forward to opportunity and freedom. True, they are tired and poor, but their yearning to breathe free has brought them hope for a better life in America. The end. The picture on page 20, the caption for the picture on page 23 says, "Immigration officers examine documents before discharging immigrants."